So, real quick shout out to Prime XBT, the sponsors of the stream. Prime's been riding with me, man. Even though prices are dropping, Prime is, staying as a sponsor on the stream, which I really appreciate. So if you want to help me out, I don't charge you guys for any of the things that I do. I don't have a paid group. I don't have paid Discord. I don't have paid mentorship. I don't charge you guys for anything. Everything that I do is for free here on YouTube and Twitter and those other platforms. So if you want to help me out, the way that I'm earning income on these videos is through exchange sponsorships. I'm not trying to hide anything from you, but if you sign up using my link and you deposit money, some of that gets kicked back to me. So if you appreciate what I do, you want to help me out, you want to help a brother out, that's the best way to do it. Sign up using that link, use my deposit code MAIN50, deposit some money, and some of that gets kicked back to me. And I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, sponsors or not. But if you want to help me out, that's the best way to do it. So shout out to the Prime team for sticking with me. All the information on how to take advantage of that in the description box of this video. If you have any questions, you can always DM me. If you want to join my Discord, go to tradermain.com. It has all the instructions on how to do it. It is completely free. All right, let's get into it here. We're gonna start off with Bitcoin. I'm not gonna talk about what happened up here. If you want to know the shorts we took for the leg down, go watch my last stream and the stream before that where we talked about this move down. We're going to talk about the long that I took here yesterday, and we're going to talk about where I think this could go. Title of the video, is this a bear market rally or is the bottom in? That's what we're going to be talking about. Who fucking knows? I'm going to do my best. All right, guys, we're going to talk about the level to level play here, right? So we obviously shorted here. What I mean when I say level to level, I like to focus on the high time frame when I'm looking for my support and resistance areas, and then I am patient. I wait for price to get to areas that I like to do business before I go ahead and look for a setup. I talk about this all the time. I always tell you guys, you got to be patient. Know where you want to play. You can try and find a trade anywhere on the chart, but if you start with that high time frame perspective, where's support? Where's resistance? Now you've added a layer. Okay, now I know where to focus. I'm looking for shorts at resistance, longs at support, whatever you're doing. When price gets to that level, that's when you zoom in. That's when you start looking for those setups that we talk about. What do you want to see? Strength, weakness, at the level. Are you looking for an over-under, an SFP, whatever, order blocks? All that stuff is great, but it works best when you are focused at key support and resistance areas. That's where you want to look for those things, okay? So the levels that we had been looking at here were this 31.8 level, and I said once we were trading below here, I'm looking to short a retest with my ultimate target being here. Now on the weekly chart, it looks pretty straightforward. Rejection all the way down here. Now it's finding support. You arguably could have shorted this weekly retest. Maybe you shorted here with your stop here. That's effectively what we did. Take profit here. Now that this has put in a big wick, you long this retest and you target maybe back up into this range, back up into this empty candle, right? Or you zoom in and you look for some more lower time frame targets. But I did nothing between these two levels. So once we got short up here, my target was down here. So when I was taking profit on the way down, I was not looking to long until we interacted with that level. Once we got down to that level, interacted with it, I said, okay, this is a key area that might be support. It's the former all-time high. We just had a huge sell-off across the entire market. Other than this one candle, it's been down only since like 50K. Every weekly candle since 50K has been red until this, except this one. And then potentially this one, which closes in, 3 days. So once we got down here, I said, okay, I've got previous all-time high. I've got this order block right here on the weekly. Now I'm going to zoom in and look for reasons to potentially get bullish. Remember, where am I looking for the trade? What direction am I looking for? What am I looking for? Where's that idea wrong, right? You got to have that trade plan, whether it's stuck on your wall, written down on an iPad, on a sticky note. You got to have all those boxes that you look for to get ticked for looking to a setup. So for me, are we at a key area? Do I have a high time frame bias? Key area, previous all-time high, bullish order block. Yes. High time frame bias, still bearish, but looking for relief, which means on the low time frame, I can be looking for a long. If we're doing this high time frame, it doesn't mean I can't look to long this portion. Even if I believe that we have another leg down, doesn't mean I can't be long biased here. And that's exactly what I'm kind of suspecting might happen here, is something like this, right? So I'm looking for potential reasons to get bullish here. I have my high time frame bias. I have my key area. Now I'm going to zoom in. Do I have a risk defined setup based on one of the patterns, setup entry techniques that I've shared with you guys that I like to trade forming at that level? So we zoom in. We came in here on the weekly. So I posted on Twitter. This entire setup was laid out on Twitter here. So if you're not following on Twitter, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you should be, right? So this was posted on the 20th. So that's 3 days ago now, right? So levels have been clean. After the rejection from 31.8, it's been down only until our next level. The weekly managed to close with a 15% wick below. If the daily candle can maintain above 19.8, I'm long biased for a relief bounce towards 23K. So that was the first part of the plan. So we zoomed in. I said, okay, we had this big move below. And then on the 20th, I posted that chart. That's right here. Look at every daily candle since that post. Here's the 20th. We had one more move up. Boom. Retested that key high time frame level. Closed above. I'm long biased. So I'm ticking off boxes on my little trading plan, right? You zoom in again. We get a little bit more definition. What is one of the setups that I like to see form at key levels? I like over-unders, breakers, order blocks, SFPs. So I had 2 levels marked out here when we started trading down, right? So I posted that chart while we were trading up here. If we traded back down into here, I'm basically looking for a reason to get long near this level. There's a couple setups here that should be jumping out at you. The one that I got in was the H4 SFP, but I had this level marked as well. This was Monday's low. So I thought maybe we run Monday's low, but my key bullish trigger was I wanted to see the daily candles remain closing above that 19.8 level. They did. We didn't run this low, but we ran this swing low. What is an SFP? Everyone's always asking. You have a low, a lower low, a higher low. This is now a swing low. We traded below the swing low and closed back above. Soon as that candle closed, I longed. Stop technically goes right below the low. Personally, I had a kind of mental stop here. I didn't want to see it trade below here, but I actually had my stop a little lower because I wanted to give some breathing room in case we ran below Monday's low. And then maybe I had to add or I had to cut early and relong. But mentally, I said, okay, I don't want to see us break that SFP low. There's your swing low. Traded below it, closed back above. It's now a valid SFP. An SFP on the H4, a bullish SFP on its own means nothing. But with context, you can now build a trade around it. High time frame support, looking for reasons to be bullish, daily candle closes above my key level, retest of the key level, bullish SFP. So all of this context makes this entry technique valid. If these are all meaningless, if I don't have any of this high time frame context and I just see an SFP, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna work. You can find bullish SFPs that don't fucking play out. Here's a bullish SFP right here. You have a swing low, went below, closed above, the next candle fucking nukes. Why did this bullish SFP not work and this one did? All of these things, the context of where it happened. The entry technique is just one piece of that puzzle. So we have all of those things lining up to give us the setup, right? So you have to have all of those pieces of the puzzle line up. And again, this is me laying out that high time frame top-down analysis for you. I'm doing the fucking work for you. Even though I lay out exactly what I'm fucking doing, I say everything that I'm looking for, where I'm looking for, what I'm targeting, I still get comments like, where's your target? Where's your stop? Are you long? And it's very hard sometimes to be patient, but I do my best to respond and not freak out at you guys. But some days I'm not as good at it. Sometimes I'm a little snarky with the comments. I like to usually keep that for the streams because it's funnier when I say it in person like this because you can tell I'm just fucking around, but harder to do in so literally laid out everything that I talked about. High time frame, looking for a potential bounce. Here's what I'm looking for. All of that shit's laid out. The next tweet was talking about my potential trigger that I'm looking for. So I have all those things ticked. Level, bias, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm looking for a trade trigger. All of this is just the last 3 days. I did nothing before that. I was chilling. Get down to the level. I'm saying, okay, now I'm looking for a trade trigger. So I marked out Monday's low. I said, I still want to see us close above 19.8. Boom. Closed above 19.8. H4 SFP. I longed. I literally gave it to you. Where do you think the target is? Do you think it might be this X? I don't know. Price moved away. What's funny is under this tweet's hilarious. I longed, send it to Hades. Now we dump. We'll dump now. And I'm petty, so I wait for us to pump and then I go like the tweet just because I'm petty like that. Once I saw that we got the reaction I wanted, I moved up my stop, hard stop, because remember, I had it here. I put a mental stop below the low. Once we moved away, then I moved my hard stop up to here. My stop's now actually at break even, so I can't lose money, and I've taken some money off the table. And Bob's your uncle. We're now well into profit. This is a 1,200 point move off of our entry. We had a solid risk reward. To me, the obvious targets are here and then up here. Right now, we're into resistance, this order block here, but it failed to make a new low. So what I'm hoping happens is something like this, and then maybe a bigger pullback. I don't know though. I'm being cautious. Obviously, I still know that the high time frame trend is down. So any sort of upside I can get, I want to take money off the table. But the setup was laid out super straightforward. This is literally exactly how I fucking trade. I don't know who else on fucking YouTube for free is telling you exactly what they fucking do and doing it live in front of you and it working. I don't know. Not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna toot my own fucking horn. I share stuff with you guys in advance. It fucking works. Why don't I have 1 million followers yet is really the only question. You could also add additional setups in here. The H4 SFP, well, what is this then? That's an H4 breaker right there. So this retest is a long. This is just an H4 bullish order block. That could have been a long. You could have zoomed in. A few people in Discord were watching this on the low time frame and they pointed out this. Here's your H30 breaker that ran the low. Candle up that runs the low. There's your H30 setup. This is already a very profitable trade. Stop below the breaker. Target highs to the left. That's already 2R. It's already at almost 4R, the 30-minute trade, right? So you don't have to take it on the H4 like I did. You can zoom in. You know that this is where we're looking for a long setup to form. So why don't you zoom in this area to whatever your preferred time frame is and look for that setup? You could arguably go on the 5-minute chart and say, this is where we got the H4 SFP right here. This is a bullish order block, down candle that caused an up move that broke market structure. Retest 1, retest 2. That's on the 5-minute chart. Why does this work here? Same reason the H4 SFP worked here. We had context. We're not just looking for an order block randomly. We're at a key high time frame level. We have a bias. We know what we're looking for. Now the probability of what you're looking for has a higher likelihood of working out. It doesn't mean it's going to work every time. It's not going to work every time. We very easily could have put in a big red candle here. But the increasing your probability of being right requires context, requires all of these things I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about Ethereum now. So Ethereum played out very similarly to Bitcoin. So the Ethereum level that we used, so on Bitcoin, we used the weekly level of the previous all-time high. The Ethereum level that I used is actually this monthly close of the all-time high. So why didn't I use the all-time high? I actually had the all-time high marked out, but as you can see, we came down to it and nothing happened. Bitcoin was still trading, I think, at like mid to high 20s when Ethereum was trading at 1400, right? So we came down here. Ethereum looked more bearish than Bitcoin. So I had this level marked, but we didn't get a reaction. Just because you mark a level, it doesn't always mean that there's going to be something that happens at that level. This is where an area where I think price might bounce or reject. But at the end of the day, you don't know until it gets there and then you watch. So I had this level marked. Bitcoin still had further to go. The reason Ethereum was more sold off, if you remember, right, when Bitcoin was ranging, most altcoins had already made this leg down. Well, actually, it was here. Bitcoin was ranging at 30K, but all these altcoins had already broken down. We had the Ethereum short here, the second short here. As it sold off harder than Bitcoin. Why? Because Ethereum BTC was bearish, meaning Ethereum was the weaker of those two assets. It sold off harder. So we didn't get a reaction at the previous all-time high. So the next level I went to was the monthly close of that all-time high area. Okay, you also could have used the weekly if you wanted. Maybe you wanted to use, you know, this level here. There's a bunch of levels you could have looked at. I think this ended up being the bottom, this level right around here, right? Maybe you wanted to use that 979 level, but the level I was using was this monthly level here. I was looking for reasons for price to bounce around this area. So you come down, you say, okay, look at the weekly chart. We had a huge wick below, but look where we closed above. So even though we traded literally 20% below that level, we still closed above. This week, traded below the level, still closed above. Okay, so obviously this is a relevant level because you're seeing price respect it. You don't know, but when price gets there, it generally will show you whether or not the level is relevant. And that's what we're seeing here. Big wick below, close above. So again, we zoom in. Ethereum actually traded quite nicely. So you had that second move into 990. I did not get long down here, personally. I didn't long Ethereum down here. I know a bunch of people bought spot down here. Killer buy, in my opinion. If you're buying, I talked about this before we even dumped, when we were up here. I said, I'm pretty sure Ethereum goes sub 1,000, and I'm pretty sure anywhere between 1,000 and like 670, like 600 to 1,000, I think is similar to buying Bitcoin from like 10 to 20K. I think in a long-term scenario, it's going to look really good. So some people got some great fills here. Do I think the bottom is in? I don't know yet. But we came into an area where I thought price might find support. Now I want to start looking for reasons to get long. Ethereum gave a very nice Monday range setup. So Bitcoin was trading into an H4 SFP. And what does Ethereum do? We have our Monday range. This is just the Spaceman BTC indicator, but you just take the high of Monday's candle and the low of Monday's candle. It gives you a nice little range. We traded outside the top, traded all the way to the bottom. Now we traded outside the bottom, traded all the way back to the top. It's just a range play. So once we had that bullish trigger on Bitcoin, you could have argued that, okay, well, Ethereum here is just putting in, maybe some sort of SFP, some sort of bullish, market structure break, some sort of, run of this Monday low, and then a reclaim is your long trigger. So on the hourly, you had a pretty clean breaker play here. There's your up candle that creates a move down that runs a low, not just any low, Monday's low. We have our key high time frame level that we're looking to be bullish at. Bitcoin was setting up a bullish setup. All of those things combined, I want to be long biased down here. Bullish order block, down candle before an up move that breaks market structure. Same shit. And look at the retest of the key level itself. Move above, bang, retest, another leg up. Target, Monday high. We're pushing into that right now. So Ethereum gave a very nice Monday's range setup, in my opinion, with this being your risk. Once we traded below Monday's low and then got back within, you are now long biased, looking for reasons to get bullish, targeting Monday's high with a invalidation below that deviation of Monday's low, right? So however you wanted to get long here, whether it's this order block, whether it's the breaker, whether it's the pullback, you have all the tools in your toolkit to know what to look for when you get here. Again, you could zoom in. You could say, okay, well, on the low time frame, we have an SFP here, right? 15-minute swing failure pattern. Maybe you're getting in on this SR flip. You have support here, becomes resistance, becomes support, becomes support. It's up to you how you want to get in the trade. I'm not able to tell you every fucking setup that's going to play out. I'm giving you guys the exact areas here. I'm giving you the exact areas to go and look for a long. And in previous videos and streams, I've given you, including in this stream, ways to actually enter the trade, where to put your stop. So I'm giving you all the pieces of the puzzle. Inevitably, eventually, you have to make the fucking thing yourself. I can't do it for you. I'm not at your computer pressing the buttons, but I can show you where to focus, right? Trading becomes a whole lot easier when you know where to look for setups. You might be like, hey, I know how to enter an SFP. Okay, where is that SFP gonna form? Is the context surrounding where it forms in line with what I'm looking for? Is equally, if not more important. Knowing that you want to get bullish at Monday's low helps take out a lot of the noise. If you're like, okay, I know that if we reclaim Monday's low, I'm long biased. Well, now you have a window here of time to look for longs and do whatever you want to do on whatever time frame you want to do it on. You could also argue here on Ethereum, once we broke this level, traded all the way down into here, right? So similar to Bitcoin from 30 to 20. Ethereum literally cut in half. 50% drawdown from here. You could argue that after this big of a sell-off, look at how many red daily candles this is in a row. Weekly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 red weeklies from literally 3,500 to 900. After this large of a sell-off, this steep of a sell-off into support, this seems like the most obvious trade is a move like this. Doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but that seems like the most obvious trade after a big ass down move like this into support. So if you now zoom in, you can say, okay, well, we had a clear level here of support, 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 big breakdown. Once we start trading above that level again, what is this? It's an over under, right? So if this is a key SR level, once we started trading back above it and then came back in for a retest, why not look for, if you're saying, hey, the high time frame, I think we're gonna do this is the kind of stuff you need to be looking for on the low time frame. Okay, we had a big deviation of support here, we reclaimed it, we're now retesting that level, there's a little low time frame deviation, reclaimed it. The entire time your invalidation is this. That ended up being Monday's low, this level here, pretty damn close. I just drew that by hand as, okay, this is obviously support, resistance, now support again. So we deviated below the level, tagged that high time frame level. We're now back above it. I want to be looking for support, some sort of SR flip. So we're like this. This is what this looks like here. We had this breakdown, back above. What are we looking for now? If my high time frame bias is, hey, I think we're due for some high time frame relief, look for longs when we come back into that level. And that's exactly what you got here. Oh, Jane. Hi, how are you? Jane, it took me several days to recover from the absolute shit show that was our interaction in the last video. So I'm hoping things go better this time. I really do. My skincare routine is very complex. I use the same soap that I use to wash my hands and my body on my face. Sexiest Bitcoin boy in the house. You like men. As long as we're trading below 30,000, yes I do. Send location, I'll be there. Don't be scared. Cred has absolute fucking tree trunks for legs. Would you ever have drinks with Bill Cosby? If I was trying to get fucked up, sure, because I'm pretty sure roofies don't work the same on dudes as they do on girls. Do you think you're strong enough to squat BitBoy? Absolutely not. That guy, his mass is so great, his radius is so wide that he has his own gravitational force. When you walk by BitBoy, you'll actually see small items like cans and bottles rotating around him in orbit. The altcoin podcast said, that's a cool hat. Do they make it for men? That's got to be one of the weakest burn attempts I've ever seen, my friend. Is this your YouTube here, bro? Is this you? Is this you talking shit to me? Is this you? Come on, dog. You gotta get your numbers up before you're talking to me, boy. You're talking about altcoins. They're all down 90%. I just summarized your entire fucking channel in 10 seconds. Just tell if the bottom is in. Don't get butthurt by someone who doesn't like your hat. How about you go fuck yourself? If we're just giving each other friendly advice, how about you go fuck yourself? I don't know if the bottom's in, bro. I have no fucking clue. But I do know when I find out, I will tell every living human being before I ever tell you. Your neck scares me. Don't be scared, friend. I'm dyslexic. I apologize. I can't even read stuff I wrote. How about you hit the gym? I already hit the gym today. Have I lost weight? No. Dyslexia is sexy. It's okay. Okay. I haven't heard that before, but I'll take it. Am I once again in the virtual presence of the most intelligent, handsome, young man God blessed this world with? Thank you so much, Kazim. I appreciate that. And you are. Good day, mate. Look out for those spiders. Altcoin podcast got absolutely roasted. I'm sorry, bro, but you came here talking shit and I had to give you that smoke. You came in, started talking shit. I'm like, bah, 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 bah. I mean, how broke were you back then? I mean, I don't know. Back when? I used to live in my dad's basement.